Hi everyone, this is Aaron for Zollotech, and we're going to take a look at the Life Edge case. This is a waterproof case for your iPad 2, 3, or 4th generation, and also keeps dust and dirt off it as well. This is a pretty heavy-duty case, and I used it probably for 2 weeks straight on one of the iPads that I let my son use. So you can see here, this is a very heavily sealed case, and I'll show you some more of that in a moment. But what it does is protects your iPad from getting water on it or anything like that, so we could toss it into a pool theoretically and not have to worry about it. Now, I've had this on the iPad that my son uses for a couple weeks and just recently took it off, and it's worked pretty good, but we've had some issues with the touchscreen, maybe when this gets a little bit dirty. But let me show you. This is pretty heavy duty, and what you do here is you need to water test this for a half an hour before you put it underwater, so you make sure, just like some other competitors, that it's waterproof. Now this latches on here very tightly, and you can see, I'll put an iPad here in here in a moment, but you can see this is pretty deep and lets you get into that access point. And in order to remove the back, you actually kind of have to, it's a little bit different than anything I've seen before. Just pull this ring off, like so. Once you have this ring off, what we can do is take that, set it aside, and then this seals around the entire thing here. So this is a pretty heavy-duty sealing case and really secures your iPad. So this is the front piece, and you've got your touch screen or your cover for the touch screen, and then you've got your little piece for the button, which is pretty difficult to press actually, and I'll show you that in a little bit. And then you've got your little piece here for your headphone jack if you wanted to use it. And if we unscrew this, you can see it's got a water sealed ring around it as well, or a gasket. So let's put this back in place. Now on the bottom, what we have is a hard plastic shell, and then we have a ring around where the camera goes. We've got these 4 posts, and I'm not sure why they did this, because when you drop it, I'm not sure that it would help the back any, but basically this is where the back rests of the iPad. And then you've got this handle or whatever you can use as well. So if I take this, take our iPad here. This is an iPad 2. Place it in here. Oh, there we go, it's on. So place it in there. And what you've got here is you have to align this up so that it's kind of hard to see in the camera angle here. You have to align it up so that this switch actually pushes the vibrate or the silent switch up and down. You can see right there with that action. And I do have to say that that part right there is a little bit harder to do than I had expected it to be, but it does work. So let's go ahead and place this in. You can see there's all sorts of fingerprints on it there. So it has been used quite a bit. Put this on. We'll just work it around the bottom. Make sure everything is sealed here. There we go. You can see how that seals in there. And then we seal it around the edges. And then once that's all sealed, we take this ring, we snap it into place. Now this makes the iPad pretty heavy actually. So if we can snap this into place. This is not an easy process, and your children will definitely not get this off. So that's definitely going to make a difference there. There. That's a good thing in my opinion. So there we have that, and it adds a significant heft to the iPad, but you can still use the iPad through it and everything. There we go. It flipped over. We can use the iPad. Let me go back to the home screen. You can see it there. And let's brighten the screen. There we are. And brighten the screen. And then this thing here on the bottom, we just clamp that shut. Now this is going to take the strength of an adult to actually do that. Now that's very good if you're going to use it in water or you're afraid of your kids dropping it. It makes that a really good thing. You also have a really difficult time pushing some of these buttons. So if you push these, you need to use a good force to do it. And you can do it, same with the vibrate switch, but it's just not something that's very easy. I'm not sure there's a better way to do it, but with the size of this case, it definitely makes it harder to do. So the screen's fully protected, the iPad's in there. It's been tested for 30 minutes underwater before you put the iPad screen in here, so it's pretty good that way, and that's about it. So let's take a look at it underwater. Now that I've taken the Life Edge case out of the water, let's open it up. Take this backing off it. You can see it's still a little bit wet here. There we go. So you can see there's water underneath this ring. It's actually splattering a little bit as I take this off. There's water there, but there should be no water inside under that seal. So let's see what we've got here. And I just dripped a couple of drops on it, but let's take a look. And it's dry in here. And other than that drop I just got on the screen, the iPad is dry. And this is actually a skin. It's pretty gross actually, but it's been on there for a long, long time and it works fine. So I don't know that I would advise dumping this into the pool, and my son obviously took some things out of here, but I don't know that I'd advise dumping this into the pool, but you can be sure that it would be safe if you did. Now, if you have any other questions or comments about Life Edge, let me know in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.